Hello, and welcome to Roeville's PHCloud tutorial series. Today we will be taking a look at quotations and bookings. These can be found here on the main left-hand menu, and clicking through to either presents us with a summary of the last 10 taken, along with an overview of the details. Above, we find a search box where we are able to look up a specific quote or booking, along with a number of different filters to help us quickly find what we are looking for. The data presented to us in the summary table can very quickly be sorted by clicking on any of the column headings. A further click anywhere on the line would jump us into the relevant quote or booking. Both the quote and booking screens behave in the same manner and differ only by the status column in terms of the information displayed. For the purposes of the demonstration, we are going to create a quote and then convert to a booking. However, please be aware that you can create a booking instantly from the main booking page here. So let's begin. We'll navigate to Quote section and select Add New Quote from the top right hand corner. This takes us onto the new quote page. The first thing we need to do is select the customer, and we can do this in one of three ways. The first is to begin typing the name of the customer's account or the name of a contact at that account. In this example, you'll see that we have typed the first few letters of Sutton Bonington School, and we're presented with options for all of the contacts at this customer. We'll go ahead and select Laura. Alternatively, if the quote or booking is for someone who isn't on our mailing list but would like to be added, we can select the plus symbol and we're presented with the new customer screen. Finally, if the quote is just for a prospective client who may not wish to be added to your database yet, we can select Add Non-Account Customer and simply record some basic contact details and then create a full account at a later date should they wish to go ahead. Next, to the right, we enter a number of basic details, starting with the number of passengers. Next up, we select the vehicle type requirements. This list is fully customizable in the settings area and should reflect the vehicles you have on fleet. We're also able to select a luggage requirement from a predetermined list. Finally, we can add a description for the quote or booking, and this serves one of two purposes. Firstly, any description entered will filter through to line description when an invoice is generated. Secondly, it acts as a quick method of finding historic quotes or bookings to similar destinations. In the main quote or booking screen, the top left-hand search box used to look up the reference number can also be used to search for places or events listed in the description on previous quotes or bookings. For this example, we're going to use Stourbridge Football Club. Now it's time to enter the movement information. We're going to begin with a simple one-way job, then look at a return, followed up finally with a multi-vehicle quote. You'll notice we have a predefined start and end location for the job as our main depot. This is configured in the settings area, and multiple depot locations can be supported if required. For the purposes of quoting, this will assume the vehicle always starts and ends at the depot and will ensure that time and cost calculations take into account any dead mileage. At a later stage, the booking can be updated should the actual job be required to begin or terminate at a different place. This can be entered by selecting the location symbol here and then entering an actual location rather than selecting a depot. The enter location boxes allow us to build up the journey and work based upon real-time address lookups using postcodes, street names, stadiums, or any searchable place. We highly recommend always entering the location information first, as there are a number of tools to then help when adding in the dates and times. I'll begin by looking up a postcode and selecting the result that appears below. Next, I'll search for a location using just the place name, and again select the correct result below. If you need to add additional points in, we can click on the blue New Action button and add a new point. If the quote or booking is for an existing customer, you'll notice the favourite symbol at the end of the line. Clicking this shows us a list of all the other points this customer has used in the past in order of popularity. You'll generally find the customer's regular pickup points towards the top of this list. We simply click on the point to add it in. If needed, we can use the shuffle arrows to the right hand side to move that point up and down the list as required. You'll notice that as we build up the list of points, the entire route is clearly defined in real time on the right hand side. We get an overview showing the main route itself in blue and any dead mileage in red, as well as a summary of the total distance below. Should we need to look at further information on an individual point, we can do so by selecting the edit symbol, which takes us through to this screen. Here we can see that each point has a name and a breakdown of the specific address. The name lets me define specifics about a point, such as in this example where we're picking up at the bus stop on the corner of Grasmere Close, whilst the address can also be updated to declare specific house numbers, etc. Both name and full address are declared to the driver on the work ticket and via the driver's app. Should you need to check any information on the pickup point itself, we can expand the map on the right hand side and take a more in-depth look at the area, including a satellite view available here at the bottom right hand corner. Finally, we're able to drag and drop the point itself to define exactly where the customer would like to be collected. This is key for any jobs where you feel there may be some ambiguity in terms of where the pickup point actually is. Your driver is able to open the job within our latest driver's app and load the route and points instantly to his mobile device. This will show him clearly within 1 metre where the exact pickup location is. No more 5 AM phone calls asking where the customers are. Any changes here are simply saved by clicking Update in the top right hand corner. One last note on points. Many customers may not have the exact location or pickups defined when they initially reserve the vehicle. This is often the case with tour operators who may schedule coaches well in advance and only have a resort or rough pickup area at the time of booking. PHCloud's address lookup can be both very accurate or entirely generic. Instead of searching for a postcode or road name, for instance, we could simply search for Eastbourne or even Wales and leave the place as a generic point to be updated in future. Now that all the points are defined, we can move on to the date and times to the right. First, we'll set the date against the first point. You'll notice that as soon as I do so, the point spins out onto 2 lines. This is due to every place having an arrival and departure time. We're now showing the name of that point and the full address, which differs slightly. More on that shortly. Let's say that we're picking up at 9 AM. However, we wish to have the coach in position 15 minutes earlier. you'll notice we now have the auto time symbol shown here to the right. PHCloud's auto time symbol will instantly rip down all of the pickup points and suggest the minimum travel time needed between each place. The system is powered by HereMaps commercial routing software and is one of the largest commercial routing systems in the world today. Unlike a number of other systems that use Google Maps, HereMaps supports actual route and timing data specific to the PSV industry. Google Maps, for instance, does not. As well as PSV specific information taking into account road speeds, HereMaps also looks at historic traffic levels for the time of day and day of week in question, allowing for the most accurate timing information available to private hire systems today. One thing to be aware of: the auto time system is currently there for the purpose of travel time between points only. We do not currently include or factor in drive time rules and regulations, so a manual adjustment to take into account brakes and so on must be taken into consideration. A future update will be available later next year with a full compliance integration to support not only the indication of driver hour requirements, but also the management functionality. Any adjustments needed can now be quickly entered either by using the clock interface or by simply clicking into the time box, adjusting, and then hitting tab to jump down each line. You'll notice we also have an auto time symbol displayed on the last pickup. This allows you to define the latest arrival time at your destination and time backwards, as well as we did forwards from the first pickup. A future update will introduce point time rounding as well as shuffle time functionality at a later date. Now that's a simple one-way journey, but what if we needed a return? We simply select the blue New Action button and click Add Return. We now have a second leg spun out with points in reverse order ready to pop in a return time. Let's say 6 PM. You'll note that the initial return is added as a second leg to the first job. This suggests that the vehicle is staying with the customer for the duration, and in the diary we will see this as one continuous job from around 8:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night. Should the job in question be two separate transfers where the vehicle is either returning to base in between or simply needs to show as available for other work, then we hit the New Action button between the legs where we wish to split the job and click on Return to Base. This splits the job into two separate movements that will show separately in the diary with availability in between. The phrase Return to Base simply means the job is split. It doesn't indicate that the vehicle has to return to base. It can simply be going on to another job or showing as available. If we make any mistakes with adding additional job or movements, we can simply hit the delete key in the top right hand corner to remove that entire section. Finally, we may require multiple movements or vehicles on the same quote or booking. Two ways we can do this. First is by clicking the blue New Action button and selecting Additional Vehicle. You will see we now have a second job ready to enter the details of the new movement. Alternatively, should the additional vehicle or movement involve almost identical information as the one above, for instance we need to move 100 passengers, so require 2 coaches, we can hit the copy symbol in the top right hand corner and spin out a second job with the same details. At this point, if we do need to make any minor changes to times or places, we can do so. Additional jobs initially copy the information provided at the top of the page regarding vehicle types and passenger numbers. With multiple movements, this may not always be the case, and so if we expand the additional job information section underneath, you'll see we have the ability to define the exact vehicle type, numbers, and anything else required for that specific job. In this example, our second vehicle is now collecting just 12 passengers. Underneath each job, we also have the ability to define the main job price, as well as define any itemised extras. These extra items may be things such as parking, additional drivers, or other costs that may have a different accounts nominal code or VAT code. To assist in pricing jobs, PHCloud's quoting system also includes a basic auto pricing function. Different combinations of standing charges, hourly and per mile rates can be set up against each vehicle type and applied based upon the route built. If we click into the Costs tab at the top of the screen, we'll see a breakdown of those estimates that can give an indication of minimum cost or minimum job price depending on how you've set these up. In this example, a number of different categories have been configured to give a breakdown across numerous areas, although many operators simply choose to define a single per mile and per hour rate. These items are configured in the settings area against vehicle types. We'll go and enter a manual price on this occasion. Finally, we may need to add some notes to the quote or booking. These can be entered against the quote as a whole after saving, or alternatively against a specific job or movement on the quote. Here we can select Add a job note, and we're given the option of General, Driver, or Internal. General is a note that is seen by both the customer and the driver. Driver will only show on the work ticket and driver's app. And internal is for back office use only and is not displayed to the customer or the driver. Once we're happy, we can go ahead and select Save. The quote is issued with a unique quotation reference number and is now saved in the system. At the top right-hand side of the screen, we now have a few options. We're able to clone this quote at any time should the customer wish to have a further quote or booking for the same job on a different date. We simply select the date in question and whether we wish to copy any of the additional things like notes and extras. Then hit clone. We can print or email the confirmation directly to the client. If I select email, you'll see I'm presented with our direct email form. I've got the ability to bring in predefined templates at the click of a button. I can also edit, add any additional information or text at this stage as required. You'll notice the confirmation document is attached as a PDF, along with my booking terms and conditions. Should I need to send any further information to the customer or driver on PHCloud, I'm also able to select the drop-down arrow to the right and attach any other files to the email as needed. Selecting Add next to the email address line will also show me any other contacts I have set up at the same customer, such as an accounts department, and I can very easily add them into the email chain as required. If we head back to the main quote section, you will see our quotation is now shown as the last one completed and ready for the customer to hopefully come back and confirm at a later date. At that time, we'll search using their reference or by customer and select the relevant quote. In the top right-hand corner, we will click on Convert to Booking and enter any deposit requirements. Keep an eye out, by the way, over the next few months for our advanced payment terms update coming shortly. This will allow you to define very specific payment terms against each customer's account that are automatically applied at time of booking. More on that shortly. We can also update the purchase order number or enter a new one if required before selecting Convert. And there we have it. The quote has now been converted into a full booking with its own unique reference. If we pop back into the quote section quickly, you'll see the status has been updated to booked. And clicking into the quote, we'll see a banner across the top stating the date and time of conversion. We also have a quick click-through link to jump to the booking itself. Overall, the booking looks very similar to the initial quote, and we can make changes in much the same way. We now have the ability to record payments against the booking by selecting the payment icon here and then stating the type and amount received. We can issue invoices either in full or as a pro forma. And now is also a great time to reissue the booking confirmation in either print or email format. And finally, as the job is now confirmed, it will immediately show up in the main diary area. You can see more on that by taking a look at the video tutorial on the diary section. Within the booking itself, we are able to generate a work ticket by clicking Reports and selecting Work Ticket. These can be printed or emailed directly to the driver. Hopefully, now you're all an expert in everything quote and booking related in PHCloud. Should you require any further help, please don't forget you can drop us an email on support@roeville.com or give one of our friendly team a call on 01302 841 333, pressing option 1 for PHCloud support. Take care and safe travels.